close shops, and to secure cheaper labor, garment industrialists moved to the border where high unemployment and an availability of workers from Mexico frustrated union efforts.
The wages here in Laredo are rather low. I think we're the lowest paid in the States, or in the nation rather. I mean, this is a place where actually we've heard that people that are bringing work here are told not to pay so much because here the wages are so much, not to pay high because it will ruin the people. My mother used to be a seamstress, and I had learned some from her, so I applied at this factory and I got a job right away. There's when I started getting interested in, not actually in the work of sewing, but what was going on in there. And I started working, I believe when I started working at 40 cents an hour. And I started looking for information how the wage an hour was and how the wage an hour would figure that, and I got it information that they were to be paid whatever they made more, either by time or piece basis. And then I realized that the people were getting robbed of their work because they were working 50, 55 hours and they were being paid for only 18 or 20 hours. I started talking to the people, and then I got to doing something about it, so I called the wage an hour people, and they came, and we were notified that the company notified us that there was a wage an hour people, and they told us not to say that we were not punching all the time. And I told the supervisor, why aren't we supposed to say? Because, I mean, if we call them to come and figure this out, why shouldn't we tell them we called them so that they would know? And she got mad at me, and she was all nervous, and she went to the hospital. And then they were blaming me because I had made her sick. A suit was filed against the company, and we were taken to court to fight that suit, and we won that case. But they gave us, the decision was given that the company was fined $19 for each count only, and they were found 19 counts wrong. And I wasn't satisfied, the girls were not satisfied, because he was going to be fined only $19 for each count, and he had robbed money from the people that was for years. So we didn't think it was fair, so we went to court again, fought it again, and we won again.
Voy a cantar un corrido de la mujer mexicana, es la raíz de mi raza y por nadita se raja. Ella sí es poderosa, le da la fuerza al hogar, le entra bien duro al trabajo porque le importa su raza.
The majority of the people that was working in the plant were coming in from Mexico as commuters. And I heard and I knew that there were some people coming asking for work, and they would offer themselves working more hours and getting paid less. So we started checking on these people that were working after working hours, and they weren't being paid for that time. So we wanted to help them and stop that. We were not trying to get their jobs away. We wanted to get them to work the hours that they punched. And finally we put a stop to their working late, giving hours free to assure their work, their job. That's what they thought they were doing. The language with the union, the language barrier with the workers or the members was we had our managers were always English speaking, and we had a hard time communicating, and I always had to be interpreting for them. Of course, I was an officer. I was obligated to do it. But you know how things change in the translation. They don't have the same juice. And even if, when we went to district meetings, we'd take Spanish-speaking people in our group. And I would, from Laredo. And of course, the meetings were in English all the time. But I was always there with my group, getting in through here and out through here, getting it in English through here and out in Spanish.
Unions organizing women workers in Texas were not free of race and sex discrimination. The leadership of the International Ladies Garment Workers Union was male. Until the 1950s, black women were segregated into their own locals, and little effort was made to overcome the language barriers with Spanish-speaking members.
Well, I've been with the AFL-CIO for many years. I went to the AFL-CIO meetings, and we had a strong Mexicanos and Americanos work together, and there were times that they were against each other. We always thought that the Anglos would always get the better jobs, the better positions. We still do. It's still our position. In 1967, I left Laredo. I had to leave town, so I quit working there. And God forbid, they said, this is our golden opportunity. We got rid of her. Anyway, I went to San Antonio, and I didn't like it there. I came back again. I knew I couldn't get a job back there. I knew it. So I didn't work for about a year, and then a factory opened in Laredo. We all went to apply there. But you know, everybody get hired except me. And they applied after I did.
So what do you attribute that to?
My organizing. They knew I was a union leader. Later, a few months back later, they opened this Levi Strauss, and I told the manager here that I was going to apply there and see how it worked. And he says, go right ahead. I mean, that's your decision. So I went and applied, and sure enough, I got the job too as an instructor. And I went to work there, and we got instructed that that was not union and that we couldn't talk union and all that. So I knew I was with management. I was on the other side. I worked 6 months there, but I couldn't take it because I had for 20 years I worked with the people, for the people, and there I was working on the other side. So I told him, quits.
Well, it's that union train a-comin'. It's that union train a-comin'. It's that union train a-comin'. Well, get on board, get on board.
Here in Laredo, unions haven't been strong. I don't know why, but there's always a fear that if they fire you because you are active with unions, you're black marked and you go look for another place, you don't get a job. It happened to me. And that's one reason. And another is that people are not very involved in organization. Employers, when you go in, they tell you right away, this is not a union place. And we don't want unions here. And if there's no union, I mean, the boss would say, this is it and that's it. You have no you're there alone. I mean, union, it's togetherness. And if you want something done, if you go alone, they won't even listen to you. But if you go as a group, I think, as representing the whole body, I think they will hear.
But we have in this day and time now, I know my daughter has this problem on the job that she's on because she's a steward. And she has to talk to the new girls that come into the shop, and some of them are very bitter. They haven't heard anything nice about the union. They've just heard the big bosses and things like that, but that isn't true. And of course, they have problems now trying to get some of the girls, and they feel like, well, I'm not fattening frogs for snakes. That's the word that they use, you know. And but as soon as they get in trouble, they'll find her to see if she can help them out. They don't want the working man to organize because they feel like that the labor unions are bad, but for the working and a poor man, that's the answer. And I've experienced that. At my age, I know that it's the answer to a poor man.
Even after we got a union agreement in Dallas, which was not with Larch. We never did get one with Larch. But every time something would go wrong in the Larch shop, they would call our office and say, such and such happened in the shop today. We got our prices cut, whatever the beef was. They knew that we would immediately respond with a leaflet. And they knew immediately that Larch would straighten out whatever the complaint was, and they still would not join the union. They used us. They're still using people. After we got a union shop, if the union shop's got an increase, Larch and McCarty and Donovan would give the same increase. Sometimes they'd give a couple of cents more. But you would get so angry because you got a call and you know when you went that you were going to get them the benefit they wanted and that they still were not going to come in and join the union. But you still had to keep trying.
Yes, I think we learned a whole lot. I think we learned how to even defend ourselves more. I think we forgot a little bit of the fear that we had. Because before we couldn't say nothing, we couldn't talk, period. Afterwards, it was entirely different. And this part about Mexican women never being involved, that's far from the truth. Very far from the truth. Because even from the very beginning, even from the war in Mexico, women were involved in that war. Okay, maybe we have become, or maybe we were in a sort of apathy because of our ignorance, but we have always been involved in some sort of ways, whether it's labor, whether it's defending our families, whichever way. We learned that through organization we could do something. Maybe we didn't win that much as far as money-wise is concerned, okay? But we learned that being united is power. Regardless, it is power. A single person cannot do anything. Alone, we cannot do anything. People are power.